What is up, everybody? This is Satellarknights here, bringing up a video. We're going to be talking about the rest of the Invasion of Venom cards, or as I should say, Invasion Vengeance, because Invasion of Venom was weird, apparently. But yeah, this is going to be the last Invasion of Venom video that we're going to be doing, aside from the TCG exclusives that have not been announced yet. So yeah, I might actually split this up into two parts because we have a lot to go over, so let's just jump right into it. The first card we got is Fairy Blessings, or Fairy's Blessings. It's a ritual spell card that basically is the same thing with Conjuring the Abyss and Earth Chant. If you guys don't know what those cards are, it is essentially this card right here. Using a dark monster, you can only use for a dark monster or earth monster, ritual monster, and they must equal the level of the monster you're trying to summon. So yeah, it's a really good thing that they're getting a card like this, so yeah. Next card is Zeruvius the Crowned Ancient Sage. It is a level 7 dragon type ritual effect monster with 2600 attack, 2800 defense, and you can use the card that we just talked about to play this card. So yeah, the first effect is when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monsters you control, you can discard this card and then negate that activation. So basically what this says is, if your opponent attempts to activate a card that targets a monster, let's say you're playing a Compulse in 2016, and you target another monster, you can discard this card and say, that's not happening. And the second effect is, if your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, you can return this card from the field to the hand, negate that special summon, and if you do, banish it. So basically, if your opponent's pendulum summons for 5, you can return this card back to your hand, and then banish their pendulum monsters that they were attempting to summon. It's a really good card. That's a really good effect. I see that effect being more useful than the first one, but I don't think this card's going to see much play, but it is an interesting card nonetheless. The next card we're going to be talking about is Barastos, Furor, the True Draco Ruler. It is a level 9 worm effect monster. That's water. It's 1800 attack, 3000 defense. You only use the effect of this card once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can destroy 2 monsters in your hand and/or face up on the field, including a water monster. And if you do, special summon this card, and if the destroyed 2 water monsters if you destroyed 2 water monsters this way, you can banish up to 2 spell or trap cards your opponent controls or in their graveyard. So basically what this means is, this is basically kind of like a miniature Dragon Ruler effect. It can't special summon itself from the graveyard, unlike the Dragon Ruler, so yeah, they're probably going to want to try to prevent that kind of chaos again. However, this effect is still pretty good, having the ability to banish any spell and trap cards on the field or in the graveyard. That's really, really good. I'm not sure if you could do either or. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, and the second effect is, if this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon 1 non-water type worm type monster from your deck in defense position. So basically, if you're playing Yang Zings, you can summon like Suwani, or you can play like Jiatu, you can bring out the Toe Tai, or whatever you want to do to summon this card, in the means of getting this card. Because if you summon this card in defense mode, they're most likely not going to kill it by battle. So on to the next card, we have a new Satellarknight card. This is Genesis Satellarknight. It is a quick play spell card that destroys a number of spell and trap cards on the field equal to the number of Satellarknight monsters you control. So basically, if you control 5, you get to play Heavy Storm or Harvest Feather Duster. If you have 1, it's just an MST. It's a really good card. I think you might actually play this card at like 2, maybe even 3, if you're that kind of serious about it. But yeah, it's a pretty good card. And the next card is, we have a Metalphoes monster called Rare Metalphoes Burst Magia. It is a level 1 fire type pendulum effect monster with 0 attack, 0 defense, pendulum scale of 8. That scale is usually pretty good. Their scales are so far all the way from 1 through 8, so it's kind of what you're expecting. The pendulum effect is, once per turn you can target 1 other face-up card you control or destroy it, and if you do, set 1 Metalphoes spell or trap card from your deck in the spell and trap card zone. So basically, it does whatever every other Metalphoes does up until now. The monster effect is, you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, add 1 Metalphoes monster from your deck to your hand. So basically, if this card is destroyed by MST, that counts as being destroyed by card effect. So you can search out any Metalphoes monster from your hand, and including this card, because it does not exclude this card. So yeah. The next card is Gradle Combat. It is a counter trap. It is you can only use the first effect once per turn. Or no, when a monster effect or spell or trap card is activated that it targets exactly one Gradle monster you control, activate one of the following effects. Negate that effect becomes destroy that target, or negate the activation if you do destroy it. This card I actually have a bit mixed feelings about. The reason why is because Gradles don't generally want to just have one monster be targeted. If they have all monsters be targeted, that would be great. This card is kind of not going to be really played, but it is good to see that Gradles are getting some amount of support. So the second effect might actually see some play, because you might not want to your opponent might not want your Gradle dragon to be destroyed. So yes. And the last card we're going to talk about this. I'm going to split this up into two parts and make this a bit short and sweet for everybody to digest, and this isn't going to take very long. This is Fairy Tale Talia. It is a level 4 light spellcaster flip effect monster with 1850 attack, 1000 defense. You only use the second effect once per turn. The flip effect is you can spell summon one monster from your hand. When your opponent activates a normal spell or trap card, you contribute one other monster you control. The effect of that card becomes a change one face-up monster your opponent controls to face-down defense position. So basically, you get the ability to the ability to willingly change your opponent or this card, your opponent's card, to flip this card face down again, and that's really, really good. There is a downside, I think, with the second effect, is that your opponent can choose the target from then on, but that's neither here nor there. The first effect is really good, I think. So yeah. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think about this first part of the cards that we discussed here today. I will see you guys in the next video. This has been Satellarknights, and I am signing out.